Hi, I'm Sharon Lechter, and I am so delighted to be with you today. Talk to you about your business. Now, when you started your business, did you start it to work until the day you die? A. Or B, did you start it to build an asset of economic foundation that would give you financial security, financial freedom, and give you your time back? I think pretty much everybody will say B. The problem is so many people actually do A because they don't understand how to build that business and how to put in that structure. And that's the value of having an action coach support you. But it's also the topic of my book, Exit Rich. And Brad asked me to talk to you about Exit Rich today. Now, before I do that, just a little bit more about me. Some of you may know that I'm an author. Those of you that don't, I've written 26 books, New York Times bestseller 5 times. And but it wasn't always that way. I lived in a very small house between my mother's beauty shop and my dad's used car lot. We had rental properties that I had to go scrub out between tenants. I swore I would never be an entrepreneur. I wanted to be a sophisticated professional. I went to school, got my degree in accounting. Was one of the very first women in public accounting, believe it or not, in the mid-70s. Started my career in Atlanta. I thought it was hot stuff. But about 4 years into it, I'm going, wow, I'm working crazy hours. And what? I'm not in control of my own life. I bet a few of you felt that way at some point. One of my clients invited me to join him in a company and own a piece of the rock. I still remember going back to my condo, doing the pros and cons on a yellow legal pad because we didn't have PCs and cell phones back then. It didn't help me a bit. I could argue both sides. But my hands took off and wrote across the top of the page, why not? Why not do something different? Why not take that path less traveled? And the time I'd spent in public accounting was invaluable because I saw so many companies and I studied how they did things correctly. And probably even more importantly, I saw a lot of companies made a few mistakes along the way. It's helped me tremendously in my career. Now, that decision to leave public accounting and go with that was a terrible decision. I got there and found all kinds of corruption. But had I not made that decision, I wouldn't have met my husband, Michael Lechter. We just celebrated 41 years of marriage. So as Napoleon Hill says, out of every adversity comes a seed of an equal or greater benefit. I got instant feedback. Now, not always do we get instant feedback, but I certainly did. The worst business decision gave me my best life decision. But that started on my entrepreneurial journey. I started a woman's magazine and sold that. And then I met the inventor of the first talking children's book. Do you remember these with sound strips down the side? Yeah. And it was a time when kids didn't like to read. And it was a time when kids did not have electronics. I know, dinosaur times. So we said, how can we get parents to trust us? They don't know who we are. And so we did the power of association in a very big way. We did arrangements and licenses with Disney, Warner Brothers, Sesame Street, Marvel Comics. Oh my gosh, I learned so much about manufacturing, about licensing, about brand association. We thought we were hot stuff. The first year we had $1 million in sales. Then we went to 9, 23, 52 million. We sold that company. And then our oldest son was off to college in 1992. Came home at Christmas time in credit card debt. We didn't even know he had credit cards. Boy, was I mad at him, but I was more mad at myself. So that was December of 1992. And I dedicated the rest of my career to financial literacy, financial education, and entrepreneurship education. And I am as passionate about it today as I was back then. Fast forward a few years, I got a call from my husband, who's an intellectual property attorney. He'd met this man, flip-flops, t-shirt, with an idea for a board game. The board game was called Cash Flow. I met Robert Kiyosaki at a beta test for the game Cash Flow. I was the only one that got out of the rat race, but I loved it because it was the same thing I was teaching. Buy, build, or create income-producing assets. My favorite word on earth is assets.